Hi, I'm Mark Phillips from the London Wing Chun Academy. It's a full-time professional centre in North London, and we cover a range of different martial arts. Each art, if you like, has a different emphasis, a different range of fighting, a different emphasis on style of fighting, from Brazilian Jujitsu, which is primarily a grappling based style, to San Da, which is a mixture of everything, and then you've got Wing Chun. So the whole point of this is just to explain how we train and how we integrate those styles whilst keeping them separate components as well, staying true to each art. So Wing Chun is a close quarter martial art. It's based on self-defense, and the idea behind it is to learn how to deal with close quarter confrontations, and it's predominantly a hand fighting style. As Wing Chun is a highly conceptual art, and there's a number of central theories behind this style, economy of motion being one of them, short distance power is one. Most of the drills and the way that we train are based around developing and practicing those theories, and most of them in the broader context include developing your reflexes. Lock Sao meaning rolling hands, Guo Sao being crossing hands, and they all practice different skills, being close range, slightly mid-range and slightly longer range, but there's various drills that we actually all do. It's not just the practicality of what we do, but it's also the martial arts side of it. And the martial arts side is very different from the practicality. With the martial arts side, we're actually looking at developing the style of Wing Chun or teaching the style of Wing Chun. So we're concerned about the shapes, we're concerned about the traditions and the culture behind the practicality of what we do. But then there's also the self-defense aspect, taking those ideas and actually applying them in a method that actually can work against someone that doesn't know what they're doing, that's attacking you in the street. So you've got the balance of the two, and that's a great thing about contemporary Wing Chun.
Coaching has helped me look at the art, look at the concepts, take the tradition, and then kind of transpose it into the practical side of things, like the fighting side, and the side when it doesn't look pretty, it's ugly, but it has to be practical.
I'd definitely say I'm more practical than traditional, just because you have to adapt to modern day. By saying practical, I mean being more streetwise, what would work in a real life fight situation, than something that's just very stiff and rigid and wouldn't necessarily work with a live body, someone attacking you.
San Shu is also referred to as San Da in Cantonese. It is originally from China, and it's not necessarily a martial art as such, but it's just a tournament way of training. So it's a method in which lots of different Chinese styles can compete against each other and compare skills. Interestingly, it's actually been adopted by the Chinese military and the police forces as well. So it's actually highly trained at quite a high level in China. And the wrestling generally includes shoulder throws and hip throws, and also single leg takedowns as well. Similar in style to mixed martial arts, except that there's no groundwork, but it does work over a series of ranges. So you've got a long range where you've got kicks, you go into a medium range where you've got strikes, and then you've got extreme close range where you've got seizing techniques where you're throwing and taking people down. So it covers all the main ranges of a fighting style.
When I was competing, it just made me feel that there was more of a time on when to step up your intensity in training, whereas when it's off-peak times when you're not training for competitions, you can take it a bit more easier, but other than that, it's still the same. You still have to learn everything, you know, with all the striking and the grappling.
Competition has been one of my really important aspects for me, but because I compete a lot, I need obviously to train my fitness because it's nerve-wracking and you want to be at your best, you need a lot of stamina. So this is why fitness has been a really big focus for me.
Keep going, 9, 10. That's it, keep going, keep going, keep going.
When I teach my fitness classes, I always structure them beforehand. So this was a good point for me already, starting structuring my class, see how they run. And so then when I come in there, it's like fluid, like there's no rest. I mean, people know the structure, they just get on with it for the whole time.
One of the other styles of martial arts that we do here is Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu generally is thousands of years old and it emanates from Japan. But the style that we practice here actually derives from Brazil. So Jiu-Jitsu is primarily about managing distance. It's a closer quarter style than Wing Chun is, in the sense that you either stay out of range of someone's attack or you get in close and you smother that. So in that sense it becomes much more of a grappling type style. So we get in close, we deal with headlocks, we deal with arm grabs, we deal with bear hugs, but most importantly what we do is we smother the range of someone who's kicking and punching, and we actually get in there and subdue that person. So the distance within Jiu-Jitsu is much closer than any other style, such as Wing Chun or almost certainly San Da, but it's all about managing and controlling that distance for self-defense. So there is a difference in the way that we train depending on our needs. So if we're looking for self-defense, we train with much more of a self-defense application. So we have a whole syllabus based around self-defense moves. So dealing with headlocks, classic straight attack, someone gets you into a headlock, dealing with someone who's trying to pick you up, to even someone trying to sit on top of you and hold you down. If you're a lady, that's quite an important thing to learn how to deal with. But then there's also the fun aspect of training. We have that interaction where we can actually compete against other styles of jiu-jitsu, other schools of jiu-jitsu rather, or we can roll with each other in the class, and it becomes much more competitive. So we've got a good balance of the two, but mostly the focus should always be on self-defense, and the fun stuff is the competitions, it's the motivation behind that, it's training with each other, and most importantly the camaraderie that comes out of all of that.
Sport or self-defense, you never have more of one than the other, but then you never neglect one or the other, because first and foremost, you are here to learn to defend yourself. You don't come into the club with the intention of learning jiu-jitsu so you can win championships. You don't come in to win medals. You come in because something has enticed you to learn how to defend yourself. But in terms of the competition side, there is a competitive edge to it, because we're all practicing together, and there are tournaments and there are things to be done.
I actually got into jiu-jitsu for self-defense. That's why I walked in the gym in the first place. When I realised that I really had no way of defending myself, if ever I was put in a situation where I needed to. But the more I did jiu-jitsu and the more time I spent in the gym, the more I fell in love with the art, and part of that is sport jiu-jitsu.
So hopefully you've got a great idea of how we train at our academy. You've seen Wing Chun, you've seen Brazilian Jujitsu, you've seen San Da. So it's a great range of holistic training that we do, and we cover every aspect of martial art training, from the different ranges to developing your fitness to developing you as an individual. It's a great place to come and see us.